Welcome everyone to another episode of LPF Debrief, where Chris and I talk about comic books, TV shows, and movies. And on today's episode, we will be discussing episode 2, season 3 of The Mandalorian. Because I was confusing myself because I was like,
They
I was going to
also
say
they also
season
count it
first.
in parts because it's like
Yeah,
part
now chapter
18 or
18.
yeah, chapter
Yeah, there's a
18.
chapter
Yeah.
18 titled "The Minds of Mandalore." So that's what it is. It's called. This one was directed by Rachel Morrison and also written by John Favreau, which most episodes are, unless he co-writes them. But um, actually, fun fact: did you know episode 20? Not the next episode, but the one after that. Carl Weathers is actually the one who directed it.
Really?
Yeah, he's gonna direct episode 20, and that episode is written by Dave Filoni and John Favreau. So you already
I
know.
swear to God,
I
if I see it and it's 30 minutes, come on.
listen,
It better be
you
a
already know.
45-minute.
I'm always excited. Anytime I see Dave Filoni's name on anything, I'm instantly excited because I know what we're gonna get. Not saying that I don't love John Favreau, because obviously that goes without saying. But guys, please, if you like the content, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff for us. It does help us with our viewership and all that other stuff. Also, shout outs to everyone who listens to us on podcast. We had hit one of a milestone for us. We got our 1,000th play, which since we switched over to Anchor, which is thank you to you guys for listening,
Yeah,
keeping
yeah.
us, going,
Big
and all
round of
that
applause.
stuff. Oh my gosh, we got the soundtrack. Look at us. Look how far we've come. Look how far we've come. We've got soundtracks and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
always, guys, spoilers are ahead. So if you don't want to hear any of that, go ahead and pause it. Come back later so you guys can hear our thoughts. Let us know what your thoughts were in the comments. All right. Enough with the housekeeping. Let's get into why everyone is here. Episode 2, season 3, Mandalorian. We're going to Mandalore, and this was I overall, I love this episode. I'll start off with my overall take. It was a really good episode. Just like, I love how this show, and if you guys listen to us in the past, you'll know how much I love when Star Wars expands its universe, even though we're going to multiple places. Right? We never saw Mandalore, or like, at least, well, we've seen Mandalore, but like it's usually in past tense. We never have seen it like how it was after everything has happened, right? So now being able to go near it, seeing where Din grew up, where, that whole scene where he's with Grogu, saying like navigating and stuff like that, which also was a great foreshadow for the episode later. But like, it's really cool to like see how fatherly he's come, and even the characters saying like, you know, where's your kid, you know what I mean, stuff like
Yeah.
that is really cool to see, just how like, and it's not like he has any backlash towards it. He's kind of like, well, yeah, I mean, I guess like that. I guess I am like his dad. And
I just want a
so
straight face Mando of like next time he shows up. Like that scene where she's like, "Yeah, where's the kid?" I wish he like
mm,
straight face like the helmet and he goes peekaboo. Like I just want
yeah.
I just want something like
I mean, it was cute though when he was just like, when he does come in and he's just like,
he just lifts him up. He's
yeah,
like, "Here he
he
is."
just here he is, like, and yeah, just seeing Kelly again was also great, because I think her character is really fun. Just a character, just the way that she interacts with the droids, the way that she interacts with Jawas, the fact that she knows the Jawa language is still funny to me.
That she dated
And
one, right?
yeah, she dated
She
one.
dated one.
Yeah,
That was the
she dated.
funniest.
So
Oh my
like, it's
god.
the thing that I love about this show is that it brings that Star Wars weirdness
Yeah.
in every episode, right? And it's supposed to be weird. Like, Star Wars is not supposed to be this common, very like, yes, it has its very serious moments which we all love, and like, we get down for, but like, Star Wars has always been this thing where it's a little quirky, right? Because it's not supposed to be all the way there, but you're also in a galaxy where, so many things can happen, and there's so many different species and things like that are in this galaxy. And I think the shows do the best part of that, right? They show off this galaxy and this whole world, that's this huge thing, but you can also see how it affects everything, right? How the empire affects everything, how the New Order affects everything, how the Republic's craft, like how all of that affects the galaxy. And I think the show does such a great job at showing that. And this is one of those perfect examples with this episode, right? Just how they showed everything. Even though we were going to Mandalore, you still saw very small tidbits of things going on just around the galaxy. So I thought this episode did a really good job, as it always does, is exploring the galaxy so we could see it in a whole, right? We see that. Yeah, so for me, overall, I love this episode. I thought it was a really strong episode. Before we get into some of the details, Chris, what were your thoughts on the episode?
I love the episode too. I just wanted to point out, like I said before the show, there was complaints that I saw, like before I
Mhm.
saw the episode. I watched it last night. Um, Before I saw the episode, there was like fans complaining that this episode was just as dark as Game of Thrones. If you think that, like, get a new
Yeah,
TV or something, because yeah, there was people complaining. You know, the White Walker War. You know how that was like notorious for being like a
oh,
dark.
like
Yeah,
okay,
so
like
they were
as
like,
in visually
yeah,
dark.
visually dark, visually dark. They were complaining that this episode was as dark as that, and I was like, I saw everything that was going on. He had a
No,
flashlight on. I,
yeah,
I was like, I don't know what y'all are watching, but
I didn't get that at all.
yeah, I was like, what?
I and honestly, for the most part, most of the things that people say that was dark, after that listen, I watched that Game of Thrones episode live on HBO. I can tell you that that thing was dark.
Yeah,
Like if you watch it now, it's adjusted. But like when you watch that episode live on HBO, I don't think I've ever seen anything like you could literally
it was like a
see
black
nothing.
screen, and then they
Yeah,
would run out, and I was like,
like
okay, cool, and
nothing.
everybody, I
You could
just
see
hear
nothing.
the swords and
So
everything. Yeah, it
this
was bad.
episode, I listen. I'm not one to tell people to, maybe check the setting. Like I honestly did not feel that way. And I mean, I have mine on a standard setting, not really like, anything like updated or anything. And it was not dark for me at all.
I was about to, because
So,
I was that was the biggest thing. I was like reading those, and I was like, okay, maybe this is just one thing saying that, and then I kept seeing them
mm,
pop up, and I was like, there's no way this is a real complaint
mm,
because it was like it was supposed to be a scene, like you're in a cave, it's kind of creepy, like I said, he had the flashlight on too. So anyway, um, I liked the episode overall. It was very we got I put in my notes, I put Grogu adventure. He's starting to do his thing more, so it makes me believe that we're gonna get his own episode where it's just like, he's gonna be doing his own thing. Um, and I think it's because they're starting to show it more. Whenever he shows up in uh at the mechanic's place and he jumps out like the Yoda jump, I was like, oh,
mm,
okay, here we go. He's moving.
yeah.
The fact that he tried to talk, or he's more vocal.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe they end this season with his first words. I think that'd be kind of weird,
Could
but
be.
funny at the same time. I don't
I mean,
know.
he's getting older, right?
Yeah, he
So
is getting
at some
older.
point, he's going to. We know that he's just a child now, so like at some point, he's going to be able to speak. I don't think that would be weird at all. But I agree with you. Like you're getting more of his. And of course, here's the thing again, though, which I go back to what we talked about in the first episode of this, and like people like who did not watch those last 4 episodes. I mean, last 3 episodes of Book of Boba have like no clue
Oh no,
on
and
how
I
he learned any
firsthand,
of this.
Bree sat down on this one, right? On this one, and she had no. She's like, wait, I thought only one. She, I don't think she saw the rest of season 2, because she's like, I
Mhm.
thought only one guy had that sword, and I was like, yeah, Moff Gideon had it. Well, what happened? Mando got it.
Oh, yeah, she
And then
doesn't.
she's like, I was like, yeah, I was like, so she was already lost, and she's like, what is happening? And I was like,
Mhm.
I see, I knew you were gonna do this. Don't sit
Yeah.
next to me. So we might have to do a rewatch or something like that.
Mhm.
And then I told her, I'm like, well, watch the second season, then we got to go to Book of Boba Fett. You don't have to watch the whole season of Book of Boba Fett. We'll just jump and I explained it to her. I'm like, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, visually though, this episode, I love. There was a lot of scenes. Like, my favorite part about these episodes is the concept art at the end.
Oh my
When
gosh.
they give
I mean,
us, I want to buy one so bad, man.
those have been my favorites since they start
Yeah.
since like season 1. Season 1 when they started, like I think that's one of the coolest ways. I wish that all the live actions adopt that. Like, I hope when Ahsoka comes out, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, I will take, and I want all of those. The fact that Disney's not selling those is kind of weird to me. Like, as Prince, because
They'll put them.
I mean,
They'll put them in the that little Star Wars museum at Disney World. You could buy, but they're like they have original pieces,
no,
and
no,
you can buy prints and
that's
stuff like that.
no.
But
I
we'll see.
They need to put Prince and be have like, make a few hundred.
Yeah.
You make a few hundred, I'm pretty sure people are gonna buy it because I want one. I want one. There's a few of them that I really, really like, and I thought that they've done throughout the 3 seasons have been like really cool. So I agree
Dope.
with you on those. Those concept arts are super dope.
Um, but also we got a little preview of our friend that I saw.
Hey,
Yeah, I was
yeah,
excited to see BD1 there on the car. It was like I said, like you said, it was a fun episode. It was like the quirkiness up until they get into the mines where it gets a little creepy and serious. Um,
hmm
we see Mando get knocked out twice, and I was like, "Come
yeah.
on, man, what are you doing?" We see Bo-Katan show us how to use
Yes.
the dark saber. So,
Listen,
yeah. So it was over. I liked this episode a lot more than the first one. Like I said, the first one wasn't a strong start, but also I don't like we said before. I don't think that was the start. I think the episodes in Boba Fett were the start for this one, and they just moved it or whatever. So, but yeah,
yeah, and just like we were talking about, like just the whole fact that, like, seriously, guys, if you are feeling lost, go at least read a summary of those last like 3 episodes, because I could not imagine like seeing Grogu the way that we did at the end of season 2, coming into this season and seeing him doing all of these things and being like, oh, he just randomly learned it. Like
and they're
it
talking
would,
about the Force. They're talking about the
yeah,
Force more, and everybody's like, "What? Since when?" They didn't even
yeah.
know what that was. How did they know what it is now?
You know what
Like,
I'm saying? So like if it just watch a summary, because I mean there's more detail in there,
yeah,
and obviously it's going to set up the shows for it also sets up some future shows, but like I was completely like, yo, if you didn't watch Book of Boba, like you would have no, like there's just this show would take such a weird like turn from going to basically straight like a Mandalorian story to like actually becoming a Star Wars story. Like, you
yeah.
know what I mean? So I I was thinking about that as I was watching. I was like, yo, some people may have no idea, like, because it's a common thing. People don't, and that's no fault of theirs. Like, some people don't have time to watch everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we do. But even us, like, you know what I mean? We still have to like pick and choose some of the things that we watch. It's hard for people to go back and watch other things, but like at least read a summary, because you need to see all that stuff with with Luke and all that good stuff on why he's able to do the things he did, so that makes sense. But yeah, overall a lot of cool stuff happened in this episode. There was a crazy amount of references in this episode that was just like date back to like Clone Wars stuff. And that's the one thing that, I mean, again, I always talk about my appreciation for when they throw those subtle things that like the diehards have watched, because like you're just like, oh, I remember that, like, you know what I mean, or like things like that. So overall, we see when they get to Mandalore that it's actually not as toxic. But I thought it was super cool how the lightning storm, like you had to go through the lightning storm in order for it to like see the
It
like
was a
the
disguise
nice,
almost. Like you're
yeah.
just like, oh, okay, wait.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me low key of Wakanda,
I was
right?
just about to say that
Whereas,
when
yeah,
they pull in and you're like, wait,
yeah,
what?
where
And
you're
then they
just
go
like,
through the
wait, there's
walls.
nothing, and then it's like
Yeah,
you go through the wall, and it's like, oh snap, like this beautiful place, like, you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
we see that when Mando goes to Peli to ask him for like the part for IG-11, which made me sad because I was like, damn,
We're not
probably
getting.
not
Yeah,
going to
we're
get
not.
IG-11 back.
Yeah.
But we did get R5D4, so which is, if you remember, in is it oh gosh, which one is it? Is it, damn it, in A New Hope? When Luke, the droid that Luke is originally working
About to.
on,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yes,
yeah,
that's the same model droid.
yeah. And I
So like, and
feel
he,
I put poor R5 in my
mhm,
notes because
yeah,
this guy did not want to do. She's like, you can
no,
go on a trip. He's like, "Why-" like if he could talk to you, he's like, let me stay here. I don't want to
yeah,
do this.
yeah. He's like, first of all, I didn't sign up for this. Like, I'm broken. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about right now? Like, and no, we could fix you up. And he's like, no, but I don't want to be fixed. I don't
Yeah,
want to stay
yeah.
right here.
Don't touch me.
But
Don't touch me. Get away.
yeah, it was a good reference to it was a good reference to that because remember Luke does end up leaving that model behind.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny that the take is like maybe he didn't want to go like at all. Like you know what I mean? So it was fun to see some of that stuff. I'm getting some more of the story of Mandalore was something that I really enjoyed, right? Like we got more story. I thought this was like Bo Bo-Katan's like this role for Bo-Katan, like obviously it's her and it's been her
Yeah.
this whole time, which she will also be at MegaCon. Super excited about that. But she really came into her own now, right? Being able to tell her past story, talk about her father, the whole thing of like, you know what I mean, how she switched her emotional reactions too, right? Like, because you at first you're like, I wonder how she really feels about Din. Like, you know what I mean? Like, does she have this envy kind of thing? Which she kind of does, right? Because when he flies back in, she's like, I really don't want to be bothered. And this dude just keeps showing up. Like, basically has this saber in my face, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of taunting her, right? Um, so when she sees him come back, when she sees Grogu and it's just him, she's like kind of concerned, like, yo, where were they? Like, where is he? Like, you know what I mean? Because I need to know. So I thought that was like those parts really established her character in being like, you know, like she cares about, and then she tries to play off this like I don't care about the whole story and like I'm kind of done with all of this, but like as the episode kind of progresses, you see that like that light is coming back a little bit for her. Like so, I thought it
Especially
was
when he's
like
reciting, when he's like getting in the water and reciting it, like
yeah,
you see the look on her face. She
yeah.
smiles a little bit of like, I
She's
remember
kind of
this.
like, yeah, I remember these days, and
Yeah.
oh, maybe this is not such a bad thing anymore. Like, because she tried to block it off because in realistically, she was just so hurt by all of it, right? Because she knows the prosperity and she knows how like the world she once had over there, and now not seeing that world and now seeing it as like a grave, like she says, like a tombstone, is hurtful for her. So I thought it was really cool, especially when she's going into the cave, basically just speaking to Grogu like, hey, like she's basically giving us a history lesson through Grogu. And I thought that was a really cool way of giving us a lot of the lore from Mandalore.
Yeah. Um, the other thing I wanted to point out was the before we left the fireworks scene when they
Yeah.
leave, and that I
Hmm.
don't remember the celebration that they were talking
Yeah,
about.
I forgot what it was called, but
Yeah,
I
that
didn't write it down.
that's the concept art I would want. Is that
Yeah.
going through and Grogu looking out of like whoa and just seeing
Yeah,
everything
like
go
what is
off
this? Hmm.
was crazy. Also the Alamites is what they're
Hmm.
called. Creepy as
Yeah.
hell. They were like that scared. Like this episode got me a couple times.
Hmm.
So whenever they jump out, that's scary. We find out Mando still cannot hold the dark saber. He's like trying to,
Properly.
yeah, he's trying
Yeah.
to force it, and it's heavy and everything like that.
Hmm.
And when he gets down into that spot and he sees that Mandalorian helmet, that like crab thing coming up made me jump. I was like, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
So
really creepy.
yeah, it was so cool to see though, like mechanically, but the eye thing, like looking around,
Yeah.
I was like, what is going on? This
Gives you a
is
little General Grievous vibes, really.
yeah,
In
yeah,
a
it really
very yeah.
does. So it was I thought that was really cool how that character came to be and how he's um I guess he was taking his blood or something like that.
Yeah,
You
because
couldn't
I'm
really tell his
assuming
goal of what
yeah,
he
I think
wanted
he
to
was
do.
taking yeah, it had to be his blood. I'm pretty sure that whatever that creature was organic at some point
Yeah.
and is probably still needs something and like or is probably testing it out to see like if it's, you know, testing his blood out or something along those lines. The Almanites were really cool though, like even though they were creepy. And this is also their first experience. Like they were brand new characters made. Like they were
Yeah.
never shown up
They look
in
like
previous.
a cousin to Gamorrean guards a little
Yeah.
bit in the face
So
and
it
stuff. I was
yeah, and
like,
it had a
okay.
little bit, yeah. It
Yeah.
had a little bit of that. And again, that's what like we were talking about, like that coolness of Star Wars of just showing us new people and new species. And you can always mess around with stuff. And I thought that was really cool. I love that Bo Katan mentioned her father. If you guys played Knights of the Old Republic, you'll know that they reference to him as Mandalore the Ultimate. So them saying Mandalore the Great was another nice little cool reference of like, hey, don't worry, guys, we know you guys know, you know what I
Mm.
mean. So and the same thing, they made a comic in that name too. So just having all of those little features, and I love how cohesive the Star Wars world is being now. Like, you know what I mean? Like a lot of the things that were like not canon or like were said to not be canon anymore are slowly making their way into canon lore, right? Like slowly making their way into these things where you're like, oh, this is a thing. Like this actually happens, right? I thought it was really cool, like you were talking about when they go into the water. I want to talk about first of all how quickly like he got drug all the way down to the ground,
Bro,
like to the sea level. Because like when she initially jumps in, and
I
I'm
did
like,
not think it was a
okay,
drop
she
off
can't,
like that. I was
bro.
like, what the
I
hell?
was like, there's no way. Like she went, like I was like, okay, a scene, maybe she's gonna look around, maybe okay, maybe, and then she just kept going. I was like, bro, how did this thing take him down there so far in such little time? Like it was literally like what, like 2 seconds, and he was at the sea level essentially. But we did see what is rumored to be a mythosaur. And if you guys know the histories of those, that's basically what the logo of the Mandalorians are, basically, is the mythosaur. And they were thought to be extinct. Old history lore of Mandalore says that, they used to ride them
Yep.
as, creatures to fight in battle and stuff like that. So and one thing that I think doesn't get stressed enough is how cool that the camera work kind of how good the camera work is to making you see their emotions behind their mask. Because like you can't see Bo Katan's face, but you know what her reaction
Yeah.
is. Like
Yeah.
you know her face, right? Like, and they did that such a good job also with Mando himself, right? Where he can express emotions just by like his body language. But like Bo, when she sees that as she's dragging him up, which also the fact that the jetpacks work underwater, super dope. But
Yeah, I did not
like you know what I
think it
mean?
was gonna be. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
her coming up and like seeing it like and being like, oh snap, like you know what I mean, you could tell it was kind of like a state of shock, like wait a second, like maybe my home world does have a way to exist. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see what that does for her character, right? What that does for her motivation on, does she want to go back, like does she want to now, like that she's seeing these few things that were like, now that she's seeing a little bit of things, maybe this is giving her hope to do what she wanted to do, right? To reestablish Mandalore. And we saw her with the dark saber. She was just wielding it as if it was just a normal piece of equipment for her
Yeah,
because
it does.
she's
It
about
does.
that life,
Yep, yep.
you know?
She definitely deserves that saber.
Yeah. And
It
I think they
it
know
was
that,
crazy.
right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
and they even said it in season 2, like he kind of was just like, yo, you could have it, like, you know what I mean? But like also it was kind of like she was like, well,
He's
we have to
very
do it the
big. I mean, Mando's very big in the faith of everything.
yeah,
He's like, well, if faith said, if our religion basically said that you have to beat me in battle, then I
yeah,
can't shy away. Because you can
yeah.
tell, like i- it's cool to see because she's just like, I don't believe in this stuff. Like, you're so dumb for still believing in this. And he's
Yeah.
like, well, I need to go because I need to get in the water so I can become
Mm,
a part of this thing that basically
mhm.
saved my life as a child. This is all I
Yeah.
know. This is all I want. And
Mhm.
it's the way of the life. It's that life that I
This is
want
the
to live.
way.
Yeah, this
This
is
is the way.
exactly the
Like
way. So
legit. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
so
this is the way. And I think from Bo's perspective, it's more of a like, I saw this, like I had this before. Like the thing that you wanted, I had before, and it got all taken away. So
mhm.
she's more of the lines of like this whole thing and the way that we were kind of resorted to why we're like this. Like, you know what I mean? And opposed to the way that Mando thinks, it's more of a like, this was my saving. Like, I'm here, I'm the person I am because of this. So I need to get back to that. Like, you know what I mean? And it may be, and like I said, to see their paths cross in this episode, to have such different, beliefs and the way that they think, but are kind of meeting in the middle now because it's kind of like, again, I want to see what this does for Bo's character. Like, what does this make her change, her tone on everything? Like, you know what I mean? So I'm really interested to see moving forward where we go from this. I thought, like I said, again, just seeing the deep lore of Mandalore for like the first time, like not the first time, because if you watch Clone Wars and Rebels, you'll know with them they pretty much got into those into that lore also, but now seeing it in a live action form is really cool. And just again, the fact that they're using all of those previous things, like previous Easter eggs and all that, is really cool to see. And I thought that's why I really like this episode. So again, I don't know anything about it being dark. It looked perfectly fine on my screen. So
Also,
and I can only speak for myself.
I'm excited to see because he's like, oh, he's like, if I provide proof that I went into the waters, I can't wait to see that scene because he's like, hey, I went into the water. Bo-Katan saw, what is the creature called
Yeah.
again?
Mythosaur.
Yeah,
A
it's
mythosaur. Yeah.
we saw a mythosaur, and I feel like that forge is gonna be like, my ass. You
Yeah, the
saw
armor's
that?
gonna be
Yeah,
like,
okay, yeah. You went to
she's gonna be like,
Mandalore.
no, yeah,
Sure.
yeah, she's gonna be like, I don't even think you made it to the surface. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think there's a way. That brings up a good point. Like, how is she going to prove that? Like, how is he going to prove that?
I think it's just the word because I mean, he hasn't
Yeah,
lied to her,
word
but
of
I'm gonna assume
yeah,
it's trust of like
yeah,
I
yeah,
did this
honor
thing, and
system.
she's like, all right, yeah, okay, but
Yeah, I mean, he does have evidence as long as Bo-Katan's alive.
I mean, I
Obviously,
feel like the forger at this point is just like, I believe you. Can you get away before you break something else, please?
yeah,
Go
but
away.
no, for real, for real. But yeah, like I said, overall, I thought it was a great episode. Even now that we talked about it, it makes me like it even more. That we've kind of just talked about those ins and outs of the episode. But overall, like I said, I thought it was great. I thought they did a great job at exploring what we Mandalore. I thought it grew Grogu's character just a little bit. Like you said, we can see maybe him having his own adventure. Um, just to see basically what he can do by himself. Just because he was able to like even fight the why am I forgetting their name? We just said it. The almanac,
all,
yeah,
all
Alamite.
Alamites, yeah,
Yeah, the Alamite fight, like basically just force get out of my way, homie. Like you don't
yeah,
even know. Like,
yeah.
and you could see he's not getting as tired, right? Like when he uses it now, it's kind of again, go back to Book of Boba, but um you could see that he's kind of like, you remember how exhausted he used to be after using it, things like that. Now he's kind of just like, get out of my way, homie, like I gotta go. And then he jumps into the ship, which is really cool. And then him just pointing, overall, that character is always going to be cute, especially with his little ears flapping around, like while he's in his little speeder. It's just that character, even when he walks around, just when he was like walking and peeking the corner,
Mm-hmm.
got like what a like what a perfect character to just like balance Star Wars out. Like, you know what I mean? Like with this cuteness and all this like weirdness, it just works out for him.
And I
But
feel like Bo-Katan is also getting us used to calling Mando Din.
yes, then
So,
yes,
because she's been using that more and more. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and I mean, she would know his name, right? Like she would be use it more than the common people would, because it is what it is.
It's
But
Dick Jarin. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, bum.
but before we head out, what was your favorite part of the episode?
Favorite part of the episode, Bo-Katan's fight scene.
Oh my god,
She is too
yes,
clean. She is
clean,
badass. And
yes.
I thought she was annoying in the animated series, but she is dope.
Yeah. Oh, your tone has changed.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
I do look
it's because like it's not the character itself. It's because
the situation.
it's a little bit of a desperation. She's so close to the
Yeah.
finish line, and it's kind of like me in a game or something like that. You say I'm playing capture the flag or something, and you need
Mhm.
one more flag. The flag's like you see your spot, and the flag's right there.
Yeah.
You get desperate. You start throwing
Mhm.
yourself out there, and you're like, you don't think about it.
Mhm.
So, and that's literally the feeling that she has. She's like, I'm literally right there. I see it. It's
Yeah.
right there. The
Yeah.
throne's there, and I
Yeah.
can't get there.
Yeah. I
So,
literally am using the weapon.
yeah, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So I would agree too. Bo-Katan, I thought was the best part of this episode. Overall, just like I said, the growth of her character, just having that history, kind of getting that kind of redemption thing, also showing like her proof of like, yo, this is why I should have this kind of thing. It all seems really cool to me. So I really like that we got a nice Bo-Katan episode, which scares me a little bit because usually when we get nice episodes like this, something bad might happen to that character. So I hope
I
that's
ain't
not
getting
the
rid of
case.
Bo-Katan. Not
But
yet.
you know, I don't know if they're gonna get. I didn't say get rid
And
of her,
then
but
Moff
I'm just
Gideon
saying,
comes out. Ah!
yeah. And then something bad just happens to the character. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah,
Also, I wanted to point out the last thing I put in my notes: Star Wars Last of Us, but with trolls.
yeah.
That's what this
I mean,
episode was. I was
I mean,
kind of hoping we were going through the city,
listen.
and all that. Yeah. So
In theory, actually, we could say that Mandalorian copied Last of Us. The game came out first.
yeah, true. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Could say that.
We
Could say
could
it.
say that.
Could
And also, what was the mechanic's name again? Why do I always forget her name?
Pelly?
Pelly.
Pelly? Yeah.
She doesn't know that Mando and Boba Fett are friends
Why?
because
Why'd
she
you say
kind of
that?
she's like, "Hey, are we here to like? Are you here to? Are the Jabba's back? Um, are you going to fight Boba again or something like that?" She asked him like
Oh
a bunch of
no, I think
questions.
she was you know, she asked him about Boba, but I don't think it was like a
I, f-
fighting question
I
because
thought it was
remember
like a
his
negative
response.
way. I was like, "Oh,
No, because remember his response was basically like, "Oh no, he's doing something like he's caught up with something or something
I
like
just
along
gotta
those lines."
rewatch that
Yeah, I
scene."
could probably
But
got to
yeah,
rewatch that line, but I didn't take it as something that was like a negative, because I feel like she's way too informative to not know what really
yeah,
happened.
right. That's what I was
Like
saying.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So
yeah.
I didn't take it like that, but I don't know if it was said like that. So
Yeah. All
I
right.
just kind of went like as soon as it got mentioned, I was like, oh yeah, like obviously he knows, like they know each other. So but yeah, that is going to wrap it up for us today, guys. Thank you as always for joining us. Like I said, if you guys like the content, please like, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. Comment down below. Let us know what you guys thought of the episode so we can interact with you guys. And then we are going to be back sometime this week, well, sometime next week for the season finale of Last of Us. I am not prepared. Bring your tissues is all I'm going to say. But and obviously we're going to record the Mandalorian for the till the season finale. So until we see you guys next time, Fire Team